2010 Mercedes-Benz C300. Customer wants oil change done. So we'll go ahead, change the oil, and show you guys what to look for when car come in for an oil change. Even if it's just an oil change, you do want to do your due diligence and check the tire pressures, check the suspension, make sure car is roadworthy, and safety. Safety is the biggest thing. So always check tires, especially tire pressure and the tread depth, and see how the tires are wearing down. So we'll go ahead and lift up the car, and while oil is draining, we will check all these good stuff. So first, you can take this cover off. This is the oil filter housing. You're gonna need a special tool for that to take this housing off. Do not use pliers, wrenches, or anything to get this off. This is plastic. You're gonna crack it. There's a lot of oil pressure goes through this filter, and any minor micro crack is gonna occur. You're gonna have an oil leak. It's not gonna be a good thing. So we're gonna use a special tool. Mercedes makes them. I'm sure you can get them from Amazon or eBay as well. So take this cap off. Always make sure to take this cap off first before draining the oil. You want to make sure this comes off. If for some reason oil cap does not come off and you drain the oil, then what are you gonna do, right? So you always take the oil cap off. And next we're gonna take this oil filter cap off. Okay, so this is the tool for the oil filter cap. That's a part number 10356902. It's hard to tell because it's all 020900. That's a Mercedes part number. So I'm sure you can find it at Amazon if you Google it or Amazon it. So we're just gonna set. We're gonna tighten these, just hand tight these little screws so we don't have any play. See, there it goes. And the socket is 22 mil, and want to turn it slowly. Keep turning until you see a little bit oil coming. You can see a little bit of oil right here. Don't try to take it off all at once. Let the oil drain in the crankcase. Just go very slowly, otherwise you're gonna make a big mess. There you go. As you can see, oil is being drained down. So we're gonna go ahead and replace the oil filter as well. And make sure these O-rings, they do get replaced as well. Do not neglect them. Make sure you change oil filter housing O-rings. If these O-rings are not replaced or they're missing, you're gonna have an oil pressure light coming on in your cluster, so be mindful of that. So this is the bottom of the car. Let me zoom out. We're gonna have to, these are 8 mil bolts. We're gonna have to take the shield off in order for us to gain access to a drain plug. So we'll go ahead and remove that. Okay, so the cover is off, and this is a drain plug. It's a 13 mil bolt. So we're gonna use 13 mil wrench, and we'll let the oil drain out. So make sure let the oil drain, and what I meant to say is, like, make sure car is nice warm operating temperature so oil can flow out better. Do not change oil while engine's cold, because You're not gonna have good flow of oil. So while it's draining, we'll check the tire pressures and we'll check the suspension as well. See if the car needs anything else. So this is the part number for this particular car, HU718/5X. Part number over here as well. And earlier I was mentioning about the O-rings. Make sure these O-rings gets replaced. So we're gonna replace this big O-ring and these two O-rings as well too. So there's one O-ring right here, and the second one, and there's a third one. So we'll replace that. Okay, so the oil filter is in the housing. So new oil filter, new O-rings. Make sure this oil filter sits all the way down. You should hear a little popping noise as soon as filter resides where it's supposed to be. So look out for that as well. See, oil is almost pretty much drained out. So we'll put the drain plug back in and lower the car down and top off the oil. So the drain plug is in. Make sure you use a brake cleaner or some sort of cleaner. Just clean the area off. Do not put the cover back on. Once we add oil, start the engine, we'll let the car run. We'll lift the car up again and see if this drain plug seeping any oil or not. So always make sure, double check that. You don't want oil to be leaking. You want to check for that. And when you put the oil filter, same goes with the oil filter housing. When we put the oil filter back in, we let the car run after adding oil, leave the car running and check for the area where oil can leak from, like the O-rings and stuff. So be mindful of that as well. So we'll show you once car is running what to look for. Okay, put the oil filter in where it's supposed to go. Do not force, it should fall in naturally to its position. And start turning it. Just make sure it's snug it good. Don't over tighten it. Again, you're gonna crack it. So just make sure you snug it. And once we start the car, after adding oil, we're gonna look around this area, see if O-ring is leaking or not. And then we'll do the same thing. We'll raise the car up, and by the drain plug, we'll look to see if it's leaking oil or not. So this particular car takes 7.5 quarts of oil. If you're doing it at home, you're getting oil from auto parts store, just make sure ask them how much oil does it take. So double check on that as well. Using 5W30, that's the viscosity he's asking for. And make sure get a quality oil. Don't get cheap oil. Don't cheap out on oil. This is the cheapest maintenance you can do. If you use the right oil, car will last you forever. So we'll go ahead fill up the oil and we'll start the car. Okay, so added 7.5 quart, 5 quart, 6, 7, and half a quart on this. So we'll start the car up and check for leaks. Hopefully we don't have any. So now the car is running. Gonna look around this area, see if there's leak or not, and I don't see any leak, which is a good thing. So we're gonna raise up the car and we'll do the same thing by the drain plug. And I'll make sure this area is clean. These are old oil. When we were taking the oil filter out, old oil came out, so we'll clean that, but there is no leak. Okay, so as you can see, this area is all dry, so it's good. Oil is not leaking. And we'll go ahead and put the cover back on and reset the oil light and car should be on its way out. We did check the air pressure and suspension is good, so no need to worry about that. The car is pretty clean actually. There's I might have a car 2 coming up to show you how to reset oil without using any scan tool. If I do have any success with that, I'll post part 2. If not, then I won't. I do have Mercedes-Benz a scanner. I should be able to reset the maintenance light off of that, but I'll try to see if I can do it without it. Okay, the cover's back on, and we'll lower the car down, turn it off, and try to reset the oil light. Alright, so hopefully someone's out there doing oil change in their Mercedes-Benz. Make sure safety first. If you're doing it on the floor jacket, put jack stands under the frame, and then crawl underneath and take the shield off. Do not go under the car without the jack stands under the car. Do not trust your floor jack. So make sure, be mindful of that, and safety first always. Alright, like I said, if there's a part 2, I'll post the link with it. If not, then this is it.